So here I'm in the kitchen, and there's a night light on in there, or the stove light. And it's important to note that I saw all of this with my eyes unaided. It moves very fast though, so sometimes it's hard to see these individual components of it, but I would see all this wiggling and movement, and it would also dim the lighting in the room, or would obscure the light further in the dining room and in the living room area. It would look much darker than it was. So the gang stalking group likes to put little creatures of things on there with eyes and sometimes mouths and with irregular shapes. And so sometimes the left eye will look different size than the right eye. And so I'm going to zoom in here, or not zoom in here, but I'm going to focus in here on the right to where you can see sort of like what could be eyes, or perceived as eyes. So we're going to look at this part right here. And so there could be an eye here, and like a mouth. And it may not be, but it's not camera noise. I saw it with my eyes. So I'm going to focus on a larger area and show you how they stack eyes on eyes on eyes. So here we're going to focus on this. So if you focus on where the eyes are, you'll see that they become sort of like different creature shapes. Uh, where the mouth of one would be the eyes of the next one, and or something like that. So I'm going to put more eyes up here. And so I would pause this and I would take a look at it, and you can see how they could be perceived as eyes. I'm going to put another freeze frame here so you can see various types of eyes. And I think this is meant to trick the brain into focusing on something. And it's also used to distract you and to waste your time. So if you're just sitting there in bed, and then all of a sudden you'll be like looking at the curtains or the walls or something, and you're like, what the fuck is that? This is a good one here because it pretty much just shows just the eyes. Some of them are still stacked on top of each other, but still pretty clear that, you can even see the glimmer in the eye, and you can see the iris in some of these cases. Sometimes they have irises like in the middle here. So right here on the left, there's a little statuette on a table of a horse, and all of this wiggling, when I saw it in the dining room, to the eye, it made it look like the horse was running. I obviously didn't think it was running. It was just the appearance of it. It kind of made it look like it was galloping. And then there's also faces. There's all this, twack in between, so now you can't even make out the horse. But here it is again. The camera's moved a little bit, and it kind of looks like its hooves are up in the air, but they're not. They're all four are on the ground, and it's going to look like it's starting to run again because of the wiggling. And all this twack in between the objects or the walls and the eyes. That's why it causes the camera to refocus a lot, and it also can cause the eye to refocus a lot. And it can be used to sort of make things like stereograms, the 3D images that used to be the craze in the 90s. So here we have the kitchen counter again, and all this twack that you see, that it it sort of engulfs the appliances and the objects on the counters, the Windex bottles, the spray bottles, the furniture, and things like that. And because they're holograms, they're essentially holograms. Sometimes the eyes are done in a way where you could interpret it as two eyes, or sometimes you could interpret it as a single, like Cyclops eye, where it has an iris, and the edges of the iris, if you reinterpret it, could be the two pupils of a pair of eyes, and they'll merge and they'll split and things like that. Here's more of the kitchen countertop, and I mentioned like spray bottles and Windex bottles, like getting creatures on them, and here you can see you can interpret it as creatures in various ways. And when you focus in on the eyes or one of the eyes, sometimes they'll say shit like they'll be like, "Ooh, there's a creature there," or they'll go "creature, feature," or they'll say things like when the Cyclops went above, they went, "The Eye of Thundera," or "Eye of Thundera," so they know exactly what you're looking at because they I don't know if they use the electro laser for that, but they can use it like an invisible pointer, and they can get you to focus in on a single thing. And here with the lights on, you can still see, the creatures or the twack that could be interpreted as creatures with like eyes and stuff in the TV screen and in the blinds and in the dark sofa in the bottom left. But you can still see the twack in the air, which is, the more yellowish hued things. And you can still freeze this and you can still see the holograms in the air. It's just less visible. It's hard to get footage of it.